Hey guys, this is Tolhi and welcome to my introduction to my new channel. So first off, first thing I want to say is for people on my old channel, my Let's Play channel, this new channel will not affect my Let's Plays. My Let's Plays will always come first, and this channel will come secondary, but this channel will be based on weekend basis. So like it'll only be updated on say Saturday or Sunday. I'm thinking Sunday seems like the day I'm probably going to want to do it, and it shouldn't affect the Let's Plays. I want to keep my Let's Plays as a priority. But what is this channel going to be about? Well, this channel is going to be based on programming, so primarily C++ programming. And why am I doing this? Well, there's a couple reasons. The thing that keeps coming to my mind is that, well, we kind of got to travel back in time a little bit. Is 4 years ago when I started learning how to program, I kind of wish that there was a really awesome tutorial that could just walk me through exactly like everything that was needed to know about programming. You know, there might be some out there now, but when I went looking 4 years ago, I couldn't find anything that was like well explained. But the thing was, I didn't even know what I was getting into. I knew I wanted to learn programming. They didn't have any kind of programming courses at my high school, so I really had no idea what was involved. I didn't know what languages were. I didn't know what a compiler was. So just to quickly touch on what exactly those things are, languages are sort of like what you write in. So there's a programming language, and that language just sort of defines the structure and grammar of how you code and how you make programs. And so I didn't understand that, and I didn't understand what a compiler was. And a compiler is pretty much the thing. It's sort of like if you can think of like a Word document or a Word program or WordPerfect or Microsoft Word or whatever. It's sort of like that sort of thing. It's sort of a text editor, except for it's designed that when you finish writing your code, your document or whatever, this improper terms, but I'm trying to describe it in a way that makes sense. You can run it. And so what does running mean? I know there's a lot of definitions, just keep with me here. Running your code pretty much so that it compiles it, so it turns your code into a language or an executable that the computer can read, so it becomes a program. So I didn't know what any of that meant, and so I had to sort of spend days researching it, trying to figure it out, and then I ended up using something from like the 80s when I first started programming, which was like some sort of crazy DOS-based compiler that wouldn't let you like do any sort of processing, so you couldn't copy and paste, you couldn't move the cursor. It was ridiculous, but I didn't know what I was doing, and there wasn't anything that really walked you through how to really get started. Or there was a lot of like, eventually once I got the terminology down, I think that's the biggest wall between starting programming, is just what terms do you use and figuring out how to search for things in Google. But once you figure out you need C++ and you need a compiler, you can then sort of, I should mention though, before someone goes inconsistency and be like, oh, you're wrong or something, is that when I was using that DOS-based compiler, I was using a language called C, and later I moved on to C++. Just for any of those people that are like, oh, it doesn't even make sense to use a DOS-based compiler for C++. C++ wasn't around then. Yeah, I was using C when I first started, and C++ is just like a more advanced version of C. I'll get into differences later on in later videos. Yeah, where was I now? I distracted myself with the tangent. So it came down to terminology. There wasn't a lot of sort of terms to, like, I didn't know what I was looking for, and so that made it extremely hard to understand stuff. But eventually I figured out C++, and then I was able to start searching for C++ tutorials. The only thing is, a lot of those tutorials are geared towards being a software application sort guy. Like, I don't know what to call it, but not in games. Like, there wasn't a lot of tutorials on how do you be a game programmer. What's the difference between an application programmer and a game programmer? Primarily, the difference is one person designs bank applications and the other person designs programs. That's really general, or game programs, but that's not exactly what it is. But it basically, there's sort of like, you got your normal software engineers and you got your programmers, and there is overlap and such. But oh, sun's going down. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna reset day by making a bed. Okay, guys, so I made a bed and I got it switched to daylight. Some of you may be wondering why I use Minecraft. It's because Minecraft is a fairly good visual aid, and it should be easy to construct stuff to better explain different programming terms, like memory and things, and also metaphors. Anyways, but so yeah, it's good the sun went down because I was starting to tangent a bit there. But back on topic, the whole reason I'm making this channel, though, is that when I first started, I couldn't find any kind of material. So this channel is really meant to be like, if I could go back in time and give these, whoa, shoot. If I could go back in time and give this video series to myself back then, I think it would have been awesome. Like, if I could build a time machine and go back and be like, here's some videos, this will teach you how to program. And so that's sort of like my goal with this, is to make something that would have been exactly what I would have wanted back when I first started 4 years ago. And so, you know, in just to explain that timeline a little bit better, yeah, I spent the first year trying to figure out how to code by myself. Then I went to school for 2 years, and now I've been in the industry for almost a year now, working at the same company. So yeah, it's just I've got about 4 years experience, and you know, I'm not an expert by any means. I wouldn't claim I am. That's something I should make clear now, is that I could say wrong stuff. But I'm going to teach the basics, and you will get a basic understanding of programming if you watch these videos. And I will do these videos as many times as it takes for you guys, oh, lag spike, to understand. Like, right, guys, so a little lag spike there. Anyway, so the point of the matter, what I was saying before I was interrupted by my computer, is, yeah, that I'll do these videos as many times as it takes for you guys to understand. So like, if I have to do video 1 11 times before it's right and it's explained in such a way that everyone just gets it, then that's what I'll have to do. Because I want to try and do this in such a way that I basically teach programming up to the point where we can actually start building games. But the hard part with that is there's a lot of underlying fundamentals that have to be taught. And so I'm going to have to go through those in detail, and hopefully my hope here is that because this is going to be in video format, you guys can replay the video as many times as you want, try and fully understand it. The one thing I should mention is programming really is a sort of play with science. I don't know, like, when I was learning to program, I played with stuff. I messed with variables, I changed stuff around, and that's how I learned, was just messing with things. And then eventually I started to figure everything out, and it all started to make a lot more sense. But it required me to really play with it and then run it and see what happened, and play with it and run it and see what happens. But yeah, moving right along. So this video is just sort of an introduction explaining why, and then also getting into a bit of how this is going to work. So I'm thinking, like I said, I'm going to do this on probably Sundays, once a week, and what we'll do is I'll try and cover a bunch of material, probably like 20 minutes or so, and then have it so you guys spend the next week playing with it or whatever, and then I'll come back that next week and either revise the video from before and make a new one, or just make a new one, depending on how many people understood the topics or how badly I messed up explaining it. And if you guys correct me, I will take that. I'm not gonna, like, if someone says, you know, you're wrong, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go to some of the senior programmers at my work, or friends, or people I graduated with and things, and be like, hey, someone commented that actually this is how something works. Then you know, maybe do some research on Google and figure out, you know what, yeah, that's actually right. and then I'll revise, or I might do some research and be like, you know what, actually, it's this way. But yeah, I'm gonna comments you, if someone knows more than me, feel free to keep commenting on my videos. I won't see that as hate, although some people may mean it that way. But yeah, I'm gonna try and take all advice in stride, because then it's not just you guys learning, it'll also be me learning as well, because it's nothing like the internet to tell you when you're wrong. So and when someone tells you wrong, then you learn from that. So I'm looking forward to that as well, people being like, no, you're doing this wrong, and then I'll be like, oh, I never knew that. But we'll start basic, and I'm going to try and cover quite a vast topic. There should be a video up at the same time as this one, which will be lesson 1, and then we'll go from there. Right, and then I also have something I want to show you guys, which I think I can do now in a moment. But first, let's explain why the heck I'm building a tower.